Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a massive shakeup in American foreign policy. We're talking about a move away from decades of tradition towards something, well, something totally different. So let's kick things off with this quote from Axios, and I want you to focus on that one word, imploding. That is such a strong word, because the sources are telling us this isn't just some minor policy tweak. Nope. This is about taking apart piece by piece the global system that's basically been running the world for more than 75 years. Okay, so what's the big idea behind all this? What's driving this huge shift away from the old playbook? Well, if you ask administration officials, they'll tell you it boils down to one thing: realism. And let's be clear, this isn't about grand ideals or, shared values. It's about a cold, hard calculation of what's best for the nation, period. And right at the heart of this realism is something called a transactional approach. Think of it like this. Alliances aren't these deep, lifelong friendships anymore. They're business deals. Every single international agreement gets put on a scale, and the only question that matters is, what does the U.S. get out of this? Right here, right now. And we're going to see this deal-maker mindset pop up in three really distinct ways. All right, let's break down those three pillars. We're going to see how this whole philosophy turns into actual policy when it comes to trade, our old alliances, and, get this, even the idea of acquiring new territory. First up, pillar number one, a super aggressive trade policy. That number you're looking at, 27%, that's the average U.S. tariff rate. We haven't seen a number that high in almost 100 years. Tariffs are basically being used as an economic weapon. And here's the real kicker. It's not just aimed at rivals. For the first time, it's being used against our traditional friends and allies, too. Okay, pillar number two, this one's a big one. Long-standing alliances are getting a complete rethink, and NATO is front and center. That old idea of an attack on one is an attack on all, that's being replaced. The new view is conditional. Basically, U.S. protection comes with a price tag, and that price is hitting those defense spending targets. It really does turn collective security into something that feels a lot more like a subscription service you have to pay for. And now for the third pillar, and honestly, this one is pretty wild. It's a renewed focus on American expansionism. Yeah, you heard that right. The sources are talking about some really out there proposals. Things like using economic force to maybe annex Canada, buying Greenland, seizing the Panama Canal, and even a plan for the U.S. to take over and redevelop the Gaza Strip. These are ideas that just completely flip the script on international rules that have been in place since World War II. So that's the theory. But how does this doctrine actually play out when things get real, in a major global crisis? Well, there's no better test case than the war in Ukraine. This is where this whole deal-based approach really got put to the test. And man, has the diplomacy here been a roller coaster. It all kicked off with this absolutely disastrous meeting back in February, a public blow-up that resulted in the U.S. completely cutting off military aid. From that low point, everything has been building towards this one make-or-break summit. Yeah, after that first meeting, President Zelenskyy was not optimistic. He called it regrettable. Sources painted a picture of a full-on shouting match over a minerals deal that got canceled right there on live television. And then you had President Trump calling Zelenskyy disrespectful. It was a complete and total diplomatic train wreck. And yet, fast forward just a few months, and the tone could not be more different. Suddenly, Zelenskyy is calling this new summit his best one yet. It's a 180-degree turn. So the million-dollar question is, what in the world happened? What changed? Okay, the answer lies in that August 18th summit. This time, the whole strategy was different. It wasn't about a one-on-one confrontation. It was about a carefully coordinated diplomatic push, where how things looked was every bit as important as what was actually being said. So this time, Zelenskyy shows up in a suit, and he's not alone. He's flanked by this whole crew of heavy-hitting European leaders. People were calling them his diplomatic wingmen. Their job was basically to stand there and project a powerful, united front, adding a ton of weight to Ukraine's side of the table. And what came out of it? A textbook transactional deal. Seriously, it was structured so everybody got a win. Putin agreed to sit down with Zelenskyy.
Big step. Ukraine got a promise of U.S. security guarantees. Huge. And the United States, it walked away with a massive $90 billion weapons deal for Ukraine, with Europe footing the bill. A classic deal-maker outcome.
All right, so let's zoom out. We've just gone deep on this one intense case study. But what does it all mean for the bigger picture, for the future of how countries deal with each other? Is this kind of deal-by-deal diplomacy the new normal?
You really couldn't ask for a better example. The Ukraine summit is the perfect snapshot of this entire shift. It had that laser focus on one specific, high-stakes trade. U.S. security guarantees on one side, a giant arms purchase on the other. It's the very definition of moving away from those broad, old-school alliances and into a world where everything is defined by these one-off, transactional deals.
And that really leaves us with the big, profound question, doesn't it? Can you actually build a stable world on a foundation of individual deals instead of shared beliefs and doctrines? Or have we just swapped the predictability, good or bad, of the old alliance system for the constant, nail-biting uncertainty of high-stakes personal gambles? That right there is the question at the very heart of this new world order.